Hi again, guys. Miss Jano here again. And I told you earlier in the month when we were having our Read Across America week and we did our author study on Tommy DePaula that I had another Tommy DePaula book, but I wanted to wait until St. Patrick's Day to read it to you because it's an Irish folk tale. Remember what we learned about folk tales, right? There are different kinds of folk tales. This one would probably be more along the lines of probably a fairy tale because it does have magic in it, but I want you to look for all those elements of a folk tale that we've studied about already this year. It's called Jamie O'Rourke and the Pooka. It is by Tommy DePaula, the words and the pictures, and a puka is not something that we have ever talked about in 3J, so maybe it will be something that we learn about in this story, this folk tale. Jamie O'Rourke, Eileen said, wake up, I've something to tell you. Jamie, who was the laziest man in all of Ireland, was sleeping in the warm sun outside their cottage. His wife gave him a shake. Wake up, for heaven's sake, Eileen said again. I'm not sleeping, Jamie answered with a yawn. Sure, I was sitting here thinking. You ever had somebody tell you they weren't really asleep, they were just resting their eyes? Now, Jamie, please listen, Eileen replied. Do you remember that I'm going up to visit my sister Kathleen and her family to help with the new baby? Jamie let out a snore. Eileen poked him. What are you doing, woman? Can't you see I'm right in the middle of solving a great problem? Jamie answered. Well, now that all the fine thoughts I was having have clear flown out of me head, you might as well tell me what's going on. I think she was trying to tell him, don't you? Eileen explained to Jamie for the 40th time most likely that she was off to Kathleen's and would be there for the better part of a week. Now, Eileen went on, I've cleaned the cottage from top to bottom. I've cooked all kinds of good things and put them in the larder. All you have to do is the washing up each night and give a quick swipe of the broom every now and then. Well, me darling, you're too good for the likes of me, Jamie said. But don't you be worrying. I'll take good care of everything, so's you won't even know you've been away. Now give us a kiss and be off with you. Down the road went Eileen O'Rourke. All of this commotion has made me as tired as a farmer plowing 5 fields, Jamie said to himself. I think I'll just have me a lie down. And sure, isn't it a sweet idea if I stay in bed and only get up for a bite? I'll not be dirty in a thing. So Jamie O'Rourke climbed into bed, and even though the sun was high in the sky, fell fast asleep. Jamie O'Rourke, 3 voices called outside the door. Where are you, man? We heard Eileen off to her sister's, so we've come to keep you company. Jamie woke up and recognized the voices of his cronies, Patrick, Michael, and Seamus. Jamie got out of bed, and since he hadn't taken off his clothes, he didn't have to be putting them on again. Come in, lads, Jamie said, opening the door. The sun was sinking behind the hills. Well, what do we have here? Jamie asked, pointing at a crockery jug. This is the finest cider you'll taste this side of the country, Patrick said. Get some mugs, Michael said. And some grub, Seamus said. He knew that Eileen wouldn't be leaving Jamie without plenty of good things to eat. When the food was on the table, and the mugs, plates, and knives and forks too, they all sat down. They had themselves a fine old time laughing and carrying on and eating until it was time to go home. Well, the 3 friends told Jamie, we'll be heading down the hill and you'll be wanting to get your rest, Jamie. Tomorrow you'll be having a busy morning cleaning up all this mess. Aye, that's the truth, lads, Jamie said, looking around. But the mere sight of the messy cottage made him the most tired man in all of Ireland, as well as the laziest, so he went off to bed. Jamie was fast asleep when a noise woke him. It was the sound of the cottage door and the clatter of hooves on the stone floor. Jamie opened one eye and took a peek. And what a sight he saw! He couldn't tell if it was a man or a donkey standing there. Whatever it was, it had long ears and a tail. "Saints preserve us," Jamie whispered. What do you think it is? "I may as well begin first as last," the creature, who was a Pooka, said out loud to himself. He stirred the fire, poured some water into a big pot, and put it on the fire. As soon as the water was hot, the Pooka washed the dishes, the mugs, and the cutlery. He put the leftovers in proper dishes and back into the larder. He swept the floor and gave the fire a good raking. Then the Pooka left the house with such a slam of the door, Jamie nearly fell out of bed. The next evening, when Patrick, Michael, and Seamus came by with a fresh jug of cider, they were amazed to see the cottage as if Eileen had been there. "How did this all happen?" they asked. "Well, me lads," Jamie replied, "I got up with the birds and cleaned it all up just like any good husband would when his darling wife is away." Is that the truth, class? Michael, Patrick, and Seamus looked at each other. They didn't really believe Jamie, but there it was. So the four friends had another grand time, just like the night before. When the friends had gone, leaving even more of a mess, Jamie climbed into bed, but instead of falling fast asleep, he waited under the covers. Sure enough, the door opened and the Pooka was back, cleaning up everything fast and furiously. "This is luck indeed," Jamie said to himself. "Why, with this creature coming and cleaning up, I can have me cronies here every night. Every night, that is, until Eileen comes home." And that is what he did. Night after night, Jamie, Patrick, Michael, and Seamus had a grand old time making a grand old mess. And every night, the Pooka came in and set things to right. By the end of the week, Jamie was curious about this accommodating creature, so he decided to stay up and have a chat with him. He was a little scared when the Pooka came in and went right to the fire, but he took a deep breath, swallowed a mouthful of cider for courage, and spoke up. "Now then, sir, if I'm not taking a liberty, might I be knowing who you are and why you're so kind as to do the cleaning up each night after myself and me friends?" The Pooka turned and looked at Jamie. "I'll tell you, and you're welcome to it. A long time back, I was the laziest servant that was ever clothed and fed and did no work for it. When my time came for the other world, this is the punishment I was given for my lazy ways, to find a place each night to labor in. As I was wandering by the other night, I looked in the window of your cottage, and sure as can be, you needed my help. It's not so bad, for at least I'm out of the cold, but when I finish my work, the saints preserve us, that cold wind goes right through me bones. It wouldn't be so bad if I had a nice warm coat." Well, well, thought Jamie, I can probably help the poor creature out. The next night, after his friends left, Jamie sat and waited for the Pooka. Eileen would be home tomorrow, but Jamie wasn't worried. He knew the Pooka would do an excellent job of cleaning up, especially when Jamie gave him the old coat he had pulled from the trunk. As soon as the Pooka came in, Jamie showed him the coat. He helped himself into it and buttoned it up. The Pooka went to the mirror. He was most pleased with what he saw. I am obliged to you, Jamie O'Rourke. You have made me happy at last. Now I'll be saying good night to you. The Pooka turned to go. Wait, wait, Jamie cried out. You're leaving too soon. What about the washing up and the sweeping? Ah, the Pooka said. Now it's your turn. My punishment was only to last until some kind creature like yourself liked the way I'd done my duty and rewarded me for it. Goodbye. You'll see no more of me. Uh-oh. The Pooka left, and there was Jamie with the mess. Or should we say, Eileen. For when she arrived the next morning and looked around the cottage, she said, Oh, Jamie O'Rourke, what do you have to say for yourself? But Jamie said nothing. He was too busy thinking he shouldn't have been in such a hurry to reward that ungrateful Pooka. And here's an author's note. Jamie O'Rourke is back. What does that mean? There must be other stories about Jamie O'Rourke. Maybe you can find some online. This time he's joined by not only his wife Eileen and his cronies, Patrick, Michael, and Seamus, but by a Pooka. Now, according to William Butler Yeats, who collected, edited, and published many Irish folk tales, again, there's that word folk tales that we know a little bit about, a Pooka, also it could be spelled P-U-C-A, they said, is an animal spirit who lives a solitary life. Some people think that the word Pooka comes from the Gaelic word poch, a he-goat. Others also think that the Pooka is the forefather of Shakespeare's Puck. Pookas come in many forms: a horse, a he-goat, a donkey, a bull, even an eagle. One of the most famous Pookas is Harvey, the ubiquitous friend of Jimmy Stewart in the play and the movie of the same name. Our Pooka was once a very lazy man who, when his time came for the other world, was given a punishment for his lazy ways. He had come back to Earth as a Pooka and made up all the work he failed to do when he was alive. So watch out, Jamie O'Rourke. So Jamie O'Rourke has other stories, and those are some maybe that you can look up sometime. So I would like to know a couple of things that you might be thinking right now. First of all, what other things might the Pooka do besides go in and clean up houses for people? Can you think of other things that the Pooka might be forced to do? And some other things that I'm wondering about is, what would have happened if Jamie O'Rourke had not given the Pooka a coat? Would he have just gotten by with not cleaning up, or do you think Eileen would have figured it out anyway? And I'm also wondering what you might think that happened next in the story. So if you continued the story, what do you think the next part of the story might be? If you would like to give me those in the form of your own writing and have someone at home help you to take a picture and send it to our remind messages, that would be good. Or you could also get some help in typing it in here. And if you want to draw the Pooka or maybe illustrate your favorite scene from this story, I would love to see those things from you as well. One more story for St. Patrick's Day, and then we'll close down our story time just for today. Bye, guys.